Welcome to Mix and Match. I'm Sarah Liethoff.
And I'm Sophie Hols. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to take a look at the many different aspects of northern Arizona, from its serene landscapes to wild outdoor activities, and from historical Native American artwork to the fascinating vineyards of the Cottonwood and the Verde Valley.
Arizona is known as the Grand Canyon state, but the area has much more to offer nature-wise than just the Grand Canyon. In fact, there are plenty of different life zones that all differ in vegetations. These life zones make Arizona's landscape very impressive and diverse. Our reporter Lynn Hagen takes us through these life zones of northern Arizona.
Northern Arizona is known for its great diversity in life zones. From the snowy San Francisco peaks down to the dry canyons, these life zones blend in perfectly with each other. Today we will take a look at how these life zones intertwine by interviewing expert Dan Campbell, going to the Arboretum to see how different flora can grow in different life zones, and going to Sedona to see how the creeks have sprung. We are now at Dan Campbell's house, expert in life zones. He will tell us everything about the different life zones and their characteristics which can be found in northern Arizona.
Merriam was a very well-trained biologist, in fact called the father of American mammalogy. He ultimately then noted 7 different life zones that he named based on the difference in altitude, which expressed itself as differences in temperature and humidity.
The Hudsonian life zone is known for its spruce forest. The soils are thick and the winters are relatively cold. More sunshine gets through in the Canadian life zone that is characterized by fir forests. Wildlife, especially smaller animals, inhabit the Canadian life zone. The transition zone is characterized by the ponderosa pine forest and aspen. The forest that we see around Flagstaff is the largest contiguous ponderosa pine forest. Upper Sonoran is the life zone that serves as the transition from ponderosa to the desert. Here, short trees mostly grow in dry places and there is a high risk of fire.
What he discovered and described was that if you took the altitudinal zonation of mountains and laid it on its side, it's exactly the same as walking, say, from the Arctic tundra through the taiga, through the spruce fir forests of Canada, through the montane ecosystems of the Rocky Mountains that have spruce fir, yes, but also down into the ponderosa or transition zone, and then eventually all the way down into Mexico.
Now we have basic knowledge of the different life zones. We can take a look and see what these life zones look like in real life, starting by visiting the Arboretum. The Arboretum at Flagstaff covers 200 acres of land, which homes more than 2,500 species of drought-tolerant adapted and native plants. Today we will talk to Kristen Haskin, Director of Research at the Arboretum.
So one of the things that we've tried to accomplish here at the Arboretum is to provide our visitor with an experience that highlights a lot or as many of the different life zones that we can. So we have a garden that's dedicated to mixed conifer type vegetation. That's about as high as we can go based on our climate that occurs right here. We also have gardens that have different themes. We have one that's a Colorado Plateau-based vegetation garden that features a lot of herbs and grass species found around the Colorado Plateau. We have a dry habitat garden that features plants that are adapted for drought. So we try to highlight a lot of these areas, including some riparian habitat.
Let's take a look at Sedona, well known for its red sandstone formations, which will glow in orange and red by sunrise and sunset. Ranger Mark Goshorn will give us more insight into this beautiful city.
It's pretty much at, like I said, the northern part of the Sonoran Desert. So it's a mixture of, we have the desert scrub, and then we're getting into the pinyon juniper, and then we're getting into the more deciduous trees that we see around here.
Northern Arizona, a great place with very diverse life zones. For NHTV, this is Lynn Hagen.
The scenery in Arizona is a one-of-a-kind environment. Therefore, you can see most of the different life zones without traveling for long distances. And you can learn more about these life zones by visiting the Flagstaff-based Arboretum.
From the peaks and the creeks, let's move on to a distinct part of Arizona's culture, Native American art. Native American art varies from tribe to tribe. Our reporter Dennis Kopal helps us explore the great variety of Native American artwork, such as the well-known rugs, pottery and jewelry. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm here today at the Museum of Northern Arizona. Native Americans are a big part of the population in Arizona, and that's why I want to learn more about their artifacts. And what better place to start than at a museum that exhibits their wonderful culture. The museum has a collection of mainly Navajo, Hopi, Zuni and Apache artifacts. To learn more about the connection between Native American art and culture, we talked to Stephen Hurst, a docent at the museum.
The different styles of art and jewelry, I think, reflect each group's way of life and their artistry. Different people's focused on different kinds of art, things that are important to them. It tells a lot about their beliefs and their culture and their religion as well.
If you want to buy Native American art, you can go to trade posts. Trade posts have been around for a long time and provide lots of different artifacts. Lafanya Bedoni works at this trade post. She tells us more about the different styles of art.
We sell all kinds of items. We have a lot of Navajo jewelry because we're most closest to the Navajo reservation, but we still get in Navajo and Hopi, Hualapai, Apache, sometimes Zuni and Pueblo items also. You can usually distinguish them by their design. Like Hopis will mainly do the kachinas, but in their jewelry work you'll always see that Hopi silver, they do like an overlay. Whereas Navajos, they always insert usually a wide turquoise in there. Then for Zuni, they're always usually inlaid, or they have a what they call petty point or needle point, real skinny design in there.
Native American art stretches far beyond jewelry and kachinas. An example is Chantal Biguet, a Flagstaff-based painter who combines his cultural heritage with more modern impressionism.
Part of the culture that endures as part of us. The stories, the legends, like the great story of the hero twins. And all the divisions that you see around here are part of who I am, where I came from. Just representing my history, my people, you know, my beliefs, my passion.
Another Flagstaff-based artist is Nathaniel White, who makes a living of building Native American flutes.
Can support my family and myself off of, making flutes. And also it's a way to connect with my cultural heritage, through art, music, and also being able to, help people to, understand, that part of my culture. It is an aesthetically pleasing piece of art, it's something that's handmade. My Native American flutes, I have a symbol that I draw on all of them. It means, the four directions, and, Mother Nature and all that. But what it represents too is the four parts of our being. It represents our mind, body, soul, and spirit. We need to have these four particular parts in our lives, in balance so that we can have a happy life.
For NHTV, this is Dennis Kopal.
This traditional Navajo art we have here is well over 20 years old. That's originally used for traditional Navajo ceremonies. This drum is made from cowhide, and this weave basket and this small rug are a nice example of the Northern Arizona culture. If you would like to get something like this for your home, visit the trade shops located here in Flagstaff or neighboring vendors.
From historical native art to wild western sports, Arizona has it all. Cowboy sports are still very popular around the area, and our reporter Janice van Doren takes us into the world of the Wild West to experience what the cowboy life is like.
Hi, I'm going to take you to the Wild West today to show you what cowboys and girls like to do in their free time. Let's visit the world of shooting, mounted shooting, trail riding, and rodeo. First, we'll meet up with a group of people who are passionate about practicing their gun shooting skills. Gun enthusiast Tim Gales will tell us about why he started out with shooting.
I've started shooting because I am someone who just loves the machinery. I really enjoy shooting. It's potentially dangerous, it's dirty, it's expensive, it's noisy. All of those things are part of shooting, but they're so much fun, and that's why I do it. The competition part of it is something that I enjoy, not because I'm competing with others, but because I like to improve my own ability, and I like to be able to do it and enjoy it and get better at it.
Deborah, or Little Deb, started shooting because of the security it gives her.
I got into shooting because, as a woman, I got tired of feeling like I was always a victim.
Elise combines her love for shooting with horseback riding.
The mounted shooting is a speed event, and it involves shooting 10 targets, which are balloons, and you use two 45 revolvers. And besides mounted shooting, we just do trail riding, and it's good to have them do all kinds of different things.
Trail riding is a popular form of relaxation for horseback riders. Where in Arizona is the best spot for trail riding?
So we're in an area called Cave Hill, and it's very popular for horseback riders because it's not rocky. It's just a place to think and enjoy time with your horse and your friends. I ride with my friends quite a bit, and now that it's summertime in Flagstaff, we ride as much as we can.
Next stop is the rodeo arena. This is Native American bull rider Wyatt Nez. He says rodeo sports connect to the Native American lifestyle.
For Native Americans, horses and cattle and livestock have always been part of the Native American culture, along with sheep and goats and stuff. You know, livestock just as a whole just have always been big in the Native American lifestyle, and you know, just getting on them is a little bit different than what I think Native Americans usually do, but you know, it adds a lot to it because you're taking care of the animals that you're getting on. The reason why it's so diverse is just because it's a sport where you can find, even no matter what your size is or how you're built, you can find a certain event that you can do well.
Rodeo Queen Allison will tell us how she got into rodeo.
My cousin had a horse when I was a kid, and when I was like 3 years old, I think I got on a horse and never looked back. My parents really weren't involved with rodeo, but ever since the second I got on a horse, it was kind of a lifestyle for me, so I've been a part of it for as long as I can remember.
Let's visit another rodeo event. The saddle roping event only focuses on team roping. Team roping is the only team sport in rodeo. The basics of this sport is that two mounted ropers try to catch a steer. The header catches its head and the heeler catches its legs. One of today's participants, Cody, hopes to pass his love for team roping on to his daughters Naomi and Leilana.
We enjoy doing it, and hopefully these guys will one day be up there like the rest of us.
Today we've experienced a few of the many different sides to the Wild West. For NHTV, I'm Janice van Doorn.
Well, that was quite an adventure. This is definitely a totally different side of northern Arizona. After all this action, it is time for Jeroen to take you on a journey from grape to bottle.
That's right, Sarah. Northern Arizona's vineyard community is growing by the year. A lot of bars in Flagstaff now serve wine produced in the Northland. The local process from grape to bottle is what makes this wine special. Reporter Pauline van der Winkel takes us on this journey.
Hi, welcome at Alcantara Vineyards. It's located at the Oak Creek and Verde River. It's one of the biggest vineyards in northern Arizona with over 10,000 vines. Alcantara started in 2005. Today we talk with Greg, who has been a winemaker for over 26 years.
You have to be patient. Nothing good in the wine industry ever happens fast. Only bad things happen fast. When you plant a grapevine, it's not like a tomato plant. They don't instantly produce grapes. It takes at least 3 years before you see anything on them, and then you don't get a full crop for 5 years.
Arizona winemakers are working hard to get recognition for their wines, as it is quite a new industry in the state.
It started off with a handful of intrepid souls in the 90s, and now there's close to 90 wineries in Arizona. Grapevines are what's known as hermaphroditic, which means they self-fertilize. So we don't have to rely on bees to go ahead and get these fertilized for us. And once they're fertilized, they start to grow. This will form a cluster of grapes. Right now they're hard little BBs. And as they grow, they'll start to soften and they'll start to change color. When they start to change color, that's known as veraison. And once we hit veraison, then we have to worry about all the animals coming in and eating them, particularly birds. Birds love grapes.
This vineyard uses natural ways to protect their vines against diseases and mold. One interesting manner are the rose plants after each row.
They look good, number one. The other thing is they act kind of as our canary in a coal mine. One of the diseases we battle is mildew, particularly powdery mildew. What will happen on a rose bush is the mildew will show up usually 3 days before we see it on the grapevine. So if we see it we monitor the roses all the time. If we see it on the rose, we know we're going to have a problem.
The fluid is extracted from the grapes to produce white and red wine.
With white wine, we can bottle it usually within 3 to 6 months. White wines oxidize much faster than reds, so there's no real benefit to keeping them in the winery. You're better off getting them in the bottle. They're much safer in the bottle. With reds, once they're pressed after the fermentation, we'll pump them into a barrel, and we'll keep them in oak barrels for 18 to 36 months, depending on the wine, depending on the market demand.
Craig says there's something to red wine that actually makes it healthy for you.
It's a naturally occurring chemical, and it's a member of the steroid family, and it's called resveratrol, and that's in the grape skins. It's in white grape skins too, but you don't get the concentrations of it like you do in the reds because we've separated the juice from the skins right away. With the reds, because we ferment with the skins, we're extracting more of that resveratrol. And that's good for your cholesterol. It's supposed to be good for your heart. There's studies that have said it's good for just about everything that ails you. So red wine every day, it's good for you.
Now let's see what happens after the grapes depart the vineyard. Here at Blends, we have come up with a creative concept. People can blend their own bottles of wine in here. They can also design their personalized label. Steven is the bar manager and sommelier at Blends.
Our little concept here is that we broke it down so that the customer can actually become the winemaker here. So the main package is you can choose 5 wines, red or red and white. You can get a calibrated cylinder, a straw pipette, and a little recipe sheet to jot down your notes, so to speak, there. And if you like what you make, we can bottle it here right on the spot.
The unique aspect of Blends is the incredible amount of tastes that can be put together.
3.31 times 10 to the 172nd power. That's how many combinations you can do here with the 20 wines that we have to offer.
As you have witnessed, there is more to wine in northern Arizona than you might have thought. For NHTV, I am Paulien van de Winkel.
That wine sure looks delicious. If you are planning a visit to Arizona, don't forget to check out the many vineyards and wineries this area has to offer.
Our time together has come to an end, so it's time to wrap things up.
We have taken you through the different aspects of northern Arizona, from the vineyards and trading posts to rodeo and all kinds of different life zones. It was a pleasure to explore northern Arizona with all of you.
Definitely. Arizona is such a beautiful place, and we hope that we have shown you that the Grand Canyon State is so much more.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good day.